very glad to have this opportunity to sit down with Lance Cox,
hmm
otherwise known as Hayden's Hideout in the Comics Pals community, and to talk about Lance's new comic, Pharos Keeper. Uh, First of all, Lance, thanks for the opportunity for me to advance purchase the book
hmm
uh, and kind of test out the waters there on Monster Comics. We'll give you the how to purchase here towards the tail end of this.
hmm
But first of all, I just want to say thanks for that opportunity.
Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone that checks out my books, whether it be Pharos Keeper or Thalamus before this. Yeah, again, thanks for all the support on this.
Sure. And Thalamus is available digitally. Is that correct?
Yes, it's available on Global Comics, or you can also get it on my website as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. And we'll go through, we'll make sure that we provide that website address and everything here
hmm
towards the end of this discussion. So obviously, you're a big comics fan
hmm
and everything. So what attracted you to take that step from being a fan to take on being a creator?
For me, I've always enjoyed creating my own worlds. Whenever I'm not reading comics or writing comics, I'm either building with Lego or working in a video game or something. So with Lego, I used to make my own worlds, make my own sort of characters and stories. And so whenever I got into comics, that love for stories and characters continued, especially as I came across creators such as Scott Snyder, or in the manga space, there's Makoto Yukimura. And really, I just want to give people the same feeling I get after I read a really good book. Sometimes whenever I read something, I just like need to take a moment to like really just appreciate what I've just read, and if I can make like one person feel that way about something that I've written, if I can give them like some sort of emotions, uh, then I think I've completed my wish. But yeah, that love for uh just creating stories has always been embedded in me.
Excellent. Okay. Very good. Very good. And you are picking good subjects, I will say this, in order to hone your craft.
Mhm.
So very good selection of topics, and you can see a skill there that is developing. So well done. Um, Now, as we mentioned, we've done we had a Thalamus, which was a digital publication.
Mhm.
So you've taken that next step, and Pharos Keeper is available not only digitally but also in print.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about the additional work and joy of taking that next step and producing a print edition of Pharos Keeper.
Um, I will say I did have a lot of help whenever it comes to suggestions for going with a printing company. But the printing company that I did go with was Comic Impressions. They are super fantastic to work with. Their customer service helped me through the whole way. So I was able to upload my files and everything. But uh, learning how to do a physical print was both challenging, but also like very rewarding at the same time. Um, I do have a physical version right here in front of me, and so just being able to like hold a book in my hands brings like another level of joy to this. I love Thalamus and how it's available digitally, but there's also something to say about having a physical book in your hand. So thanks to the folks over at Comic Impressions, especially Logan for helping me out with this. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of physical copies that you can get, and I think going forward, I would love to continue doing print versions if and when possible for this. And also, this is just another way to, or another feather to add to my cap. With Thalamus, I learned the digital side of things. and also how to write comics. With Pharos Keeper, I really started to hone my craft, but also learned the physical publishing side of things and all the legal stuff that goes into it. Whenever people create comics, they don't really consider the legal side of things. So that's something that you might want to consider if you're doing your own comic. But yeah, I'm glad to have this both physically and digitally. Um,
Yeah, it's really uh, it's really neat to see somebody take that next step and produce the physical. As you and I both know, probably most of the folks in the PALS community are aware that the vast majority of comics that are consumed, at least in the United States, are
mhm,
through physical copies. So, and uh, and I certainly enjoyed the thrill of getting that package the other day and opening it up and have my copies in hand. So again, thanks for that opportunity. Um, as far as now, you've been through the creative process a
mhm.
couple of times now, assembling a creative team and artists and others to work on the book. How did you go about doing that, assembling that team, and reflect a little bit on the teamwork there for us, if you would.
Mhm. Um, it's kind of funny because Clara was the one who reached out to me first. She had actually read Thalamus whenever it released on Global Comics, and she reached out to me via email. She said that she wanted to work together, sent me her portfolio, which I looked over. And whenever I did, I saw a lot of space and alien creatures, which I was like, that's perfect because that's actually what I wanted to do next. Since I did fantasy stuff with Thalamus, I wanted to go to the sci-fi realm with my next book. So Clara actually reaching out to me was just really great. Then we went and did some character concept designs, which she had sketched out Akir and Astra and M3, and I love the design that she came up with for all of these characters, especially M3. M3 is definitely my favorite character in the book, both design and personality wise. Um, and I do have plans regarding the future of that character. Uh, you may see them pop up again in something else, but for right now, that character is just in this book. But yeah, Clara, she really carried this book. She did both the pencils, the inks, the coloring, and the lettering for this. I did letter a few bubbles myself. You could probably tell where I did it because it's very noobish in comparison to her. But she really like carried this thing on her back. She designed the logo, which is one of my favorite parts about the cover. So much so that I did get a custom hat of it. But yeah,
Yep.
she's a really great person to work with. I hope to work with her again in the future for some other projects. And yeah, I just love what she did with this book.
Excellent. Excellent. What about editing? Did you did you edit the book yourself or with Clara or how did that work for you?
I edited the book myself, so
Okay.
I wrote it, went over it myself, and then that was pretty much it. Probably for my next book, I'll end up hiring an editor, but the script is pretty much all me. It's 100% me. So that's uh that's where that went. So there's no editors,
Yeah.
just me and Clara as the team for this. We're a dynamic duo, if you will.
Excellent. 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 And thanks for mentioning M3. That brought a smile to my face when you mentioned that. And akin to R2D2 and C3PO being the backbone of stories in a certain galaxy far, far away.
Mhm.
Maybe M3 will be the backbone in future stories coming out of Hayden's Hideout. Tell us about the creative process that you follow. What steps do you take to get the to get you've obviously had the story in your head, in
Mhm.
your psyche and everything. So how do you go about taking those ideas and getting them down onto the page? What does that look like for somebody who's saying, "Oh, I got to do this myself." What does that look like for you?
For me, it is a lot of planning. I think it's George R. R. Martin who said there's two types of writers. There's the planter who just throws seeds out wildly and sees what grows, and then there's the planner who plants every little thing out. And I'm definitely a planner. Uh, for Pharos Keeper specifically, I plotted it out into 4-page chunks because the book does jump between the past and the present. And so I knew that I wanted to do that. So every 4 pages, I knew what exactly had to be done in that. And then the planter side was just me figuring out, all right, how do I achieve that within those 4 pages? Um, and so you get like a lot of both plan stuff and a lot of stuff that I just threw out there. There's a montage in the book where you see our main characters going to these different planets, and I gave very short descriptions because I wanted Clara to really have her say with that to really show off her skills. And so some of the planets that you see in the book that Akira and Astra visit, that's what she came up with, and it was really cool to see her like stretch her skills in this and really showcase what she could do. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely a planner whenever it comes to this. Also, music helps out a lot. I have my own playlist that's for Pharos Keeper specifically. A lot of instrumentals, but there is some music with lyrics. I love writing to video game instrumentals. And so, Pharos Keeper, I did end up writing to the Citizen Sleeper uh, OST, which is like a sci-fi cyberpunk sort of game. So, definitely fits the vibe of Pharos Keeper if you want something to listen to while reading the book.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that. It is something that largely as a consumer of stories myself, as opposed to creating them, I've always been interested in how people kind of get themselves into that mode to actually get things down on paper, because the dynamics are obviously a lot different than just consuming. So thanks for sharing that. And Pharaoh's Keeper, uh, is this a story that's been brewing for a while with you, or is it? Did you get done with Thalamus and say, okay, I've got to come up with something else, whole cloth, and let's start from there? Or tell us a little bit about that.
So I knew the bare bones of what Pharos Keeper was going to be. In the afterword, I mentioned that Pharos Keeper was originally going to be a survival horror book, but it was during the writing process or during the planning process, I should say, that it really transformed into what it is, which is more of a sci-fi romance book. Um, but I had this idea of what if there was a lighthouse in space? Because I love lighthouses and like the sort of supernatural effect that they have. So could I bring that into space, and how would I do that? And so I learned of this real thing called dark nebulas, which are like these gamma radiation clouds that are the birthplace of the stars in our solar system. Um, and I was like, that could be very interesting to deal with because dark nebulas, you can't really see through them unless you're using like gamma powered lights, which is very interesting. Um, but I found out like how I could get a lighthouse into space, why there would need to be a lighthouse in space, and then it was sort of finding out why would someone take on this job, and that's really where I found who Akir is and also who Astra is, and some of the other characters and their backstory. That's where the past element really came into play. Um, but for me, I just knew the bare bones. It was really after Thalamus that I started to understand what I wanted to do with Pharos Keeper. So a bit of both, knowing what I wanted to do, but also coming up with it during the moment.
Excellent, excellent. And obviously you've sold me on this,
Mm.
and very glad that I took that step and was able to purchase for folks who want to check out Akir and Astra and M3 and Pharos Keeper, how they go about doing that.
You can either read it on Kindle if that's your preferred way of reading it, or if you want to get a physical copy, you can order it from my website, which is monstercomics.com. There should be a link in the description for this. You can get both a signed copy and for every physical version, I should say, you'll get a free bookmark as well, which has the Pharos Keeper logo on it. So you can both get just a regular physical edition, but also a signed version if you want that as well. And that's again on my website, monstercomics.com.
Very good. So again, folks, I'd recommend that you check this out. Lance, thanks for taking some time to chat with me about this. And everybody, make sure you go check out Pharos Keeper, monstercomics.com. And thanks everybody for taking the time to check us out tonight.